I agreed to live differently for 30 days, and I thought it would be easy. I thought I was just trying something new. I thought I could stop whenever I wanted. But I had no idea those 30 days would completely change the way I looked at myself, my confidence, my style, and even my understanding of gender expression. If you've ever been curious about crossdressing, wondered what it actually feels like, or secretly imagined living as your authentic feminine self without fear, stay with me until the end because every single day taught me something I never expected, and the final lesson surprised me more than anything else. The challenge sounded simple. For 30 days, I would embrace a different side of myself. That didn't mean pretending to be someone else. It meant allowing myself to explore a part of my personality that I had hidden for years. No excuses. No quitting halfway. Every day I would learn, improve, and step a little further outside my comfort zone. Day 1 felt exciting and terrifying at the same time. Standing in front of my closet, I realized I had spent years imagining this moment, but never actually allowing myself to experience it. My hands were shaking. I wasn't afraid of the clothes. I was afraid of what I might discover about myself. The first outfit wasn't perfect. The colors didn't match. The fit wasn't ideal. The makeup was almost non-existent because I barely knew what I was doing. My wig looked slightly off, and my confidence was even lower. But something unexpected happened. Instead of feeling embarrassed, I smiled. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't dressing for other people's expectations. I was dressing for myself. That first smile became the reason I kept going. The next few days were all about learning. I realized crossdressing isn't simply wearing feminine clothes. It's an entire journey of self-expression. Every little detail matters. Choosing colors that work together. Finding clothes that flatter your body shape. Learning posture. Learning movement. Learning confidence. None of these things happen overnight. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is rushing everything. They buy expensive dresses before understanding their own style. They copy influencers without considering what actually fits their own personality. I almost made that mistake too. Thankfully, I slowed down. Instead of buying everything at once, I started experimenting. Simple tops, comfortable skirts, soft fabrics, different accessories. I learned which colors made me feel confident and which ones didn't. I stopped asking whether something looked feminine enough and started asking whether it felt right for me. That question changed everything. Around day 5, makeup entered the challenge. If you've ever watched professional makeup tutorials, they make it look unbelievably easy. Reality is completely different. My eyeliner looked uneven. Foundation didn't match my skin. Lipstick went outside the lines. Blending seemed impossible. I almost gave up. But then I remembered something important. Every expert once looked exactly like a beginner. So, every morning I practiced. Foundation, concealer, powder, blush, mascara, lipstick. Little by little my hands became steadier. By the end of the first week, I could already see improvement. Not perfection. Progress. And progress is what builds confidence. Something else happened during that first week. I stopped obsessing over looking perfect. Social media often creates impossible expectations. Perfect lighting, perfect editing, perfect makeup, perfect outfits. But real life isn't filtered. Real confidence comes from accepting that improvement takes time. The second week focused on movement. This was something I had completely underestimated. The way you walk, the way you sit, the way you use your hands, the way you smile. These things communicate confidence much more than expensive clothes ever could. I spent hours practicing posture. Shoulders relaxed. Head up. Gentle movements. Natural expressions. At first I felt awkward. Then something amazing happened. The movements stopped feeling like acting. They became natural. I wasn't copying someone else anymore. I was discovering my own version of femininity. That's an important lesson many people never hear. There isn't only one correct way to express femininity. Some people love glamorous dresses. Others love casual fashion. Some enjoy soft makeup. Others enjoy bold looks. Some feel happiest in heels. Others prefer sneakers. There are no universal rules. Authenticity always looks better than imitation. Around day 12, I decided to organize my wardrobe differently. Instead of randomly buying clothes, I built complete outfits. One skirt could match 3 different tops. One pair of shoes worked with multiple looks. Accessories completely transformed simple clothing. I realized style isn't about spending the most money. It's about making smart choices. That lesson saved me from wasting hundreds of dollars. Then came one of the hardest parts of the challenge: self-doubt. Around the middle of the month, I looked in the mirror and started criticizing everything. My face, my body, my voice, my height, my shoulders. Everything suddenly felt wrong. Negative thoughts appeared from nowhere. Maybe I'll never look feminine enough. Maybe people will laugh. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. These thoughts are more common than most people admit. Almost everyone experiences them. The difference is whether you believe them. Instead of quitting, I decided to write down every improvement I'd already made. Better makeup, better posture, better outfit choices, more confidence, less fear. Suddenly, I realized something. Growth becomes invisible when you only focus on perfection. Always compare yourself with your past self. Never compare yourself with strangers online. That single mindset completely changed the rest of the challenge. Week 3 became my favorite. Not because I suddenly became perfect, because I stopped hiding. I started taking photos. Not for likes. Not for validation. For memories. Looking back at day 1 compared to day 20 was unbelievable. The transformation wasn't only physical. It was emotional. I smiled more. I laughed more. I stood taller. Confidence changes your appearance more than makeup ever can. One unexpected lesson came from voice training. Many people believe sounding feminine means forcing your voice higher. Actually, natural communication matters much more. Speaking clearly, relaxing your breathing, improving rhythm, reducing tension. Confidence affects how your voice is perceived. Trying too hard often sounds less natural. Small improvements over time create better results. Another important lesson involved skincare. I used to think skincare was complicated. Actually, consistency matters more than expensive products. Cleaning your face, using moisturizer, applying sunscreen, staying hydrated, sleeping properly. Healthy skin makes every makeup look better. It's one of the simplest habits anyone can develop. Around day 22, something incredible happened. I stopped constantly checking mirrors. That surprised me. At the beginning, I looked at every reflection. Fixing hair, adjusting clothes, checking makeup, searching for flaws. Now I simply enjoyed the moment. Confidence had quietly replaced insecurity. Nobody noticed except me. But that's exactly where real transformation begins. Inside, not outside. Another lesson involved fashion trends. I realized trends disappear. Personal style lasts. Instead of chasing whatever everyone else was wearing, I focused on clothes that genuinely made me happy. Comfort became important. Fit became important. Quality became important. Not popularity. Many beginners buy clothes because influencers recommend them. Instead, ask yourself one question. Would I still wear this if nobody else ever saw it? If the answer is yes, it's probably right for you. As the final week approached, people started asking what had changed. Some said I looked happier. Others noticed more confidence. A few couldn't explain exactly what was different. The answer was simple. I had finally allowed myself to express a side of myself without constantly judging it. That freedom changes everything. The final days weren't dramatic. They were peaceful. Everything that once felt impossible now felt normal. Choosing outfits became easier. Makeup became quicker. Walking confidently required less thought. Even nervousness had almost disappeared. Then day 30 arrived. I stood in front of the same mirror where the challenge had started. Same room. Same person. Completely different mindset. The biggest surprise wasn't how feminine I looked. The biggest surprise was how comfortable I felt. Comfort cannot be bought. It cannot be copied. It grows through experience. Looking back, these 30 days taught me lessons that apply far beyond crossdressing. Confidence grows through action. Perfection is unnecessary. Comparison steals happiness. Authenticity attracts confidence. Consistency beats talent. Kindness toward yourself creates lasting change. If you're thinking about starting your own journey, remember this. You don't have to become someone else. You don't need expensive clothes. You don't need professional makeup. You don't need permission from strangers. Start small. Learn patiently. Celebrate progress. Ignore impossible standards. Your journey belongs to you. Some people will understand. Some won't. That's okay. Your happiness should never depend entirely on someone else's opinion. Crossdressing isn't about pretending. For many people, it's creativity. For others, it's relaxation. For some, it's confidence. For others, it's self-expression. Everyone's reason is different, and every reason is valid. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing they have to earn the right to express themselves. You don't. You only need honesty with yourself. There will always be days when nothing feels right. Your makeup won't cooperate. Your outfit won't fit the way you imagined. Your confidence will disappear. Keep going anyway. Progress is built on ordinary days, not perfect ones. Those difficult days often teach the biggest lessons. Looking back now, agreeing to live differently for 30 days didn't change who I was. It revealed parts of myself I had ignored for far too long. That's a huge difference. Transformation doesn't always mean becoming someone new. Sometimes it means finally allowing yourself to be the person you've always wanted to explore. If you're watching this and you've been waiting for the perfect time to start your own journey, remember this. There is no perfect day, no perfect outfit, no perfect face, no perfect body. There is only the decision to take the first step. Every expert started as a beginner. Every confident person once felt nervous. Every beautiful transformation began with uncertainty. Maybe today is your day one. Maybe you're still thinking about it. Maybe you've been hiding your interest for years. Whatever stage you're at, know this. Growth begins the moment fear stops making your decisions. Those 30 days ended, but the confidence stayed. The lesson stayed. The happiness stayed. And if I could go back to the very beginning, knowing everything I know now, I wouldn't hesitate for even a second. I'd say yes all over again. Because sometimes the most life-changing decision you'll ever make is simply giving yourself permission to explore who you truly are without shame, without fear, and without limits. I never expected the hardest part of this 30-day challenge wouldn't be the clothes, the makeup, or even stepping outside my comfort zone. The hardest part was facing the voice inside my head that kept saying, "You're not good enough." That voice followed me every single day. But by the end of this journey, it became quieter than it had ever been before. If you've ever doubted yourself while exploring cross-dressing or feminine expression, keep watching because what happened during the second half of this challenge completely changed the way I see confidence forever. By the beginning of the 4th week, I realized something interesting. Every morning had become a little easier. The routine that once took 2 hours now took less than 1. I wasn't rushing because I had become perfect. I was improving because repetition creates confidence. One thing I started doing every day was taking 10 minutes just to plan my outfit before getting dressed. That simple habit made a huge difference. Instead of throwing random pieces together, I started thinking about balance. If my top had bold colors, I chose a simpler skirt. If the dress already had beautiful patterns, I kept the accessories minimal. I discovered that style is often about knowing when to stop adding more. Many beginners believe every outfit needs to be flashy. The truth is, simple outfits often look much more elegant. A clean look with the right fit almost always beats an expensive outfit that doesn't work together. Another lesson surprised me. Shoes completely change how you carry yourself. The first time I tried walking confidently, I kept looking down at my feet. I worried about every single step. But after practicing around the house, I stopped thinking about walking altogether. Confidence isn't about moving differently. It's about moving naturally. If you're wearing heels, don't rush. Take smaller steps. Keep your posture relaxed. Let your arms move naturally. Looking comfortable matters far more than trying to look dramatic. And if heels are your thing, that's perfectly fine. Stylish flats, boots, or sneakers can look just as amazing depending on the outfit. There is no rule that says femininity only exists in high heels. Around day 24, I decided to stop copying looks from social media and create my own combinations instead. At first, I was nervous because I wasn't sure if they would look good. But those outfits became my favorites because they reflected my personality instead of someone else's. That's something many people forget. Inspiration is helpful. Imitation can hold you back. Use other people to learn techniques, not to replace your own creativity. Another important change happened with accessories. When I first started, I wore everything at once. Earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings, scarves. I thought more accessories meant a better outfit. I was completely wrong. Sometimes a single necklace becomes the centerpiece of an entire look. Sometimes simple earrings are enough. Sometimes wearing nothing extra creates the cleanest style. Fashion isn't about how much you wear. It's about making intentional choices. During this challenge, I also learned the importance of confidence in photos. Most people take one picture, dislike it, and immediately delete it. I used to do exactly the same thing. Then I discovered something. Professional models don't rely on one perfect picture. They take dozens, sometimes hundreds. Small changes in lighting, posture, facial expression, or camera angle completely transform a photo. Instead of judging myself after one picture, I started experimenting. Different smiles, different angles, different lighting, different backgrounds. Suddenly photography became fun instead of stressful. Then came something I never expected. I received a compliment from someone who had no idea I was doing this challenge. They simply said, "You seem much more confident lately." They didn't mention my clothes. They didn't mention my appearance. They noticed my energy. That moment taught me something powerful. People often notice confidence before they notice fashion. Confidence changes your body language. It changes your smile. It changes your eye contact. It changes the way you speak. And those changes are impossible to fake forever. Around day 26, I decided to challenge myself in another way. Instead of focusing on how I looked, I focused on how I felt. Every time I caught myself criticizing my appearance, I replaced the thought with a different question. What am I improving today? That tiny shift completely changed my mindset. Instead of searching for flaws, I started searching for growth. Maybe today's eyeliner looked smoother. Maybe my posture improved. Maybe I smiled more naturally. Maybe I felt less nervous. Every small victory mattered. Because confidence isn't built in giant leaps. It's built through hundreds of tiny improvements that almost go unnoticed. One evening, I spent nearly an hour looking through old photos of myself before this challenge. The difference shocked me. Not because I suddenly looked like a different person. Because I looked happier. There was more life in my eyes. More relaxation. Less fear. That kind of transformation can't be measured with makeup or clothing. It's emotional. That's when I realized this challenge had become much bigger than crossdressing. It had become an exercise in self-acceptance. For years, I believed confidence came after becoming perfect. Now I understood the opposite. Confidence comes first. Improvement follows. Waiting until you feel ready often means waiting forever. Sometimes you have to begin while you're still nervous. One topic that deserves more attention is patience. Everyone wants fast results. Better makeup in one day. Better fashion in 1 week. Complete confidence in 1 month. Life rarely works that way. Skills grow slowly. Your eyes notice progress long before your mind believes it. That's why consistency matters more than motivation. Motivation disappears. Habits remain. Even on days when I didn't feel inspired, I still practiced something. Maybe 5 minutes of makeup. Maybe organizing clothes. Maybe practicing posture. Maybe watching educational fashion videos. Tiny actions keep momentum alive. Another lesson involved shopping. I stopped buying clothes just because they were on sale. Instead, I asked myself 3 questions. Does this fit well? Can I wear it with at least 3 different outfits? Will I still enjoy wearing it 6 months from now? If the answer wasn't yes, I didn't buy it. That simple rule saved money and built a wardrobe I actually loved wearing. Then I learned something about colors. At first, I only wore black because it felt safe. Eventually, I experimented with soft pinks, cream, lavender, light blue, white, and pastel shades. Some colors completely changed my mood. Others didn't suit me at all. And that's perfectly normal. Finding your color palette takes experimentation. Don't let one bad outfit convince you a color isn't for you. Sometimes it's simply the wrong shade. By day 28, I noticed another unexpected change. I stopped asking for approval. Earlier in the challenge, every decision came with doubt. Does this look okay? Is this feminine enough? What will people think? Eventually, those questions disappeared. The only question that remained was, do I like it? That question brought freedom, because personal style should reflect your happiness before anyone else's expectations. The final 2 days felt emotional, not because the challenge was ending, because I realized how much I had learned in only 1 month. I had learned makeup, fashion, wardrobe planning, skincare, photography, confidence, patience, self-expression. Most importantly, I had learned kindness toward myself. That's something many people forget during any transformation. You cannot hate yourself into becoming confident. Growth responds much better to encouragement than criticism. On the final evening, I decided to wear the exact same outfit I had worn on day 1. Nothing expensive, nothing dramatic, just the same clothes. The difference was incredible. The outfit hadn't changed. I had. I stood differently, smiled differently, walked differently, thought differently. Sometimes transformation has nothing to do with what you're wearing. It's about who you become while wearing it. If someone asked me today whether everyone should try a challenge like this, my answer would be simple. If you're curious, if you've been wondering, if you've always wanted to explore this side of yourself, give yourself permission to learn without expecting perfection. You don't have to know everything before you begin. Nobody does. Every confident crossdresser you admire once struggled with makeup, once felt nervous buying clothes, once worried about judgment, once questioned themselves. The difference is they kept going. And that's the biggest lesson these 30 days taught me. Confidence isn't something you discover. It's something you build. One choice, one outfit, one practice session, one brave moment at a time. By the end of this journey, I realized I hadn't agreed to live differently for just 30 days. I had agreed to stop letting fear decide who I could become. And that decision was worth far more than I ever imagined. The 30-day challenge was officially over, but something unexpected happened the very next morning. I woke up, looked at my closet, and realized I didn't want to go back to the way I lived before. That scared me for a moment because I had started this as an experiment. Now it felt like a part of my everyday life. Was that a good thing? Was I changing too much? Or was I finally allowing myself to be honest? Those questions stayed with me, and the answers completely changed the way I think about confidence, self-expression, and crossdressing. Stay with me because the biggest lesson came after the challenge had already ended. The first thing I noticed was that getting dressed no longer felt stressful. During the first week, I would spend nearly an hour deciding what to wear. I kept changing outfits because nothing felt right. One shirt looked too plain. One skirt looked too bright. One pair of shoes didn't match. Every decision felt difficult. Now, everything felt natural. I understood my wardrobe. I knew which colors worked together. I knew which outfits made me feel relaxed. Most importantly, I stopped chasing perfection. That was one of the greatest gifts this challenge gave me. Perfection is exhausting. Progress is exciting. The next change surprised me even more. Shopping became completely different. Before this challenge, I used to buy clothes because they looked good on someone else. Now I bought clothes because they matched my own personality. That single change saved money, reduced clutter, and made every purchase feel worthwhile. I also stopped buying items simply because they were trendy. Fashion trends change every season. Personal style can last for years. When you understand your own taste, you stop feeling pressured to own everything you see online. That's a very freeing feeling. Another habit I developed was taking care of every outfit. Instead of throwing clothes on a chair after wearing them, I folded them properly. I organized accessories. I cleaned my makeup brushes regularly. I stored wigs carefully. These small habits made everything easier. When your space is organized, getting ready becomes much more enjoyable. One evening, I decided to compare my first makeup kit with the one I was using after 30 days. The difference wasn't the products. It was how I used them. The same foundation looked smoother. The same lipstick looked cleaner. The same eyeshadow blended better. People often believe buying expensive makeup solves everything. Technique matters far more than price. Practice always beats expensive tools. I also learned to stop hiding mistakes. Sometimes eyeliner wasn't perfect. Sometimes my lipstick wasn't completely even. Sometimes my hair refused to cooperate. Instead of becoming frustrated, I laughed. Nobody notices every tiny detail the way we do. We are usually our own toughest critics. Around this time, I began reading comments from other people sharing their own cross-dressing journeys. One story kept appearing again and again. Almost everyone said the same thing. I wish I had started sooner. Not because they wanted to look different, because they spent years being afraid. Fear steals time. Confidence gives it back. That thought stayed with me for days. Another thing I discovered was the importance of taking breaks from comparison. Social media is full of amazing transformations. Professional makeup, professional photography, professional lighting, perfect editing. If you compare your beginning to someone else's years of experience, you'll always feel discouraged. Instead, compare yourself to yesterday. That's the only comparison that truly measures growth. One afternoon, I challenged myself to create an elegant outfit using only pieces I already owned. No shopping. No buying anything new. At first it seemed impossible. Then creativity took over. A different belt completely changed a dress. A simple cardigan created an entirely new look. Switching jewelry transformed the style again. I ended up creating 5 completely different outfits without spending a single dollar. That taught me another valuable lesson. Creativity often grows when resources are limited. Buying more isn't always the answer. Learning how to use what you already have is a skill. As the days passed, I became more interested in understanding why cross-dressing made me feel happier. It wasn't just about looking feminine. It wasn't about impressing anyone. It wasn't about attention. It was about freedom. Freedom to experiment. Freedom to express creativity. Freedom to stop pretending I wasn't curious. That realization made everything simpler. Everyone has different reasons for cross-dressing. Some enjoy fashion. Some enjoy transformation. Some appreciate the creativity. Some explore another side of themselves. There isn't one correct reason. Your reason only needs to make sense to you. Another unexpected lesson involved confidence in conversations. Earlier, I worried constantly about saying the wrong thing. Over time, I realized confidence has very little to do with having perfect words. It comes from being comfortable with yourself. People respond to authenticity, not rehearsed perfection. That lesson applies to every part of life. The challenge also improved something I never expected: patience. At the beginning, I wanted instant improvement. Now I actually enjoyed the learning process. Trying new makeup techniques became fun. Experimenting with hairstyles became exciting. Mixing outfits became creative instead of stressful. The journey itself became rewarding. When that happens, improvement never really stops. I also noticed that confidence spreads into other areas of life. I became more organized, more disciplined, more willing to try new things, more comfortable making decisions. One challenge created positive habits far beyond fashion. That surprised me more than anything else. One weekend, I spent time reorganizing my wardrobe from scratch. Instead of arranging clothes randomly, I grouped them by category. Tops together, skirts together, dresses together, accessories together, shoes together. Suddenly getting ready became faster than ever before. Good organization reduces unnecessary stress. It's such a simple habit, but it makes a huge difference. Around this time, I made another promise to myself. I would never again insult my own reflection. Think about how often people criticize themselves. I'm too tall. I'm too short. My face isn't feminine enough. My shoulders are too broad. My hands look wrong. Negative thoughts become habits if we repeat them every day. I decided to replace every criticism with one improvement I appreciated. Maybe my posture had improved. Maybe my smile looked more genuine. Maybe my confidence was growing. That small mental exercise slowly changed the way I viewed myself. Confidence begins with the conversations you have inside your own mind. Another thing I learned is that everyone progresses at different speeds. Some people master makeup quickly. Others develop fashion sense first. Some become confident immediately. Others need months. None of those journeys are wrong. Comparison creates unnecessary pressure. Personal growth isn't a race. As I reflected on the challenge, I realized something important. Crossdressing had taught me much more than clothing. It taught observation, creativity, discipline, patience, self-respect, and perhaps the most valuable lesson of all, self-acceptance. When you stop fighting yourself, you finally have energy to improve yourself. That's a powerful change. Looking back, there wasn't one dramatic moment that changed everything. There were hundreds of tiny moments. Choosing to practice instead of quitting. Choosing to learn instead of complain. Choosing curiosity instead of fear. Those little decisions built a completely different mindset. If you're beginning your own journey today, don't worry about becoming perfect this month. Focus on becoming slightly better this week. That's enough. If you improve just 1% every day, imagine how different you'll feel 1 year from now. Small improvements create extraordinary results over time. And if there's one message I hope every crossdresser hears, it's this. You don't need permission to explore your creativity. You don't need to meet impossible beauty standards. You don't need expensive clothes. You don't need professional makeup. You don't need to look like anyone else. The only thing you truly need is the courage to take your first step and the patience to keep taking the next one. Because confidence isn't hiding who you are. Confidence is slowly becoming comfortable with the person you've always been curious to discover. That was the real result of my 30-day experiment. Not a new wardrobe. Not better makeup. Not prettier pictures. A stronger relationship with myself. And that's something no challenge can ever take away. 30 days ago, I thought I was just trying something different. Today, I realize I wasn't changing who I was finally allowing myself to be myself. And if you've been waiting for the right moment to begin your own journey, maybe this is your sign. Thanks for watching, and remember, confidence isn't about becoming someone else. It's about embracing the person you've always wanted to be.